Hello, my name is Tom Carnell. Welcome to the show for Wednesday, January 28th. If you don't know who I am a writer who used to work for Carpe Noctem and Fangoria and DreadCentral.com, and I'm an author now. I've got about 11 books out. Please check out my Amazon author page for more of that information. Mixing up the format this week, just because I'm tweezing. We'll get to something chef's kiss in a little bit, but right now we're still finding our way. Check out the description of this video for links to all the music and a few of the movies. We're going to start with some movie recommendations. First up, 2010 film called Man from Nowhere, aka Agiosi, directed by Lee Jun-boom, who did a movie called No Tears for the Dead. Awesome. If you haven't seen The Man from Nowhere, I highly suggest it. It's about a pawnbroker who befriends a little girl whose mother is involved with some sketchy stuff, and the little girl gets kidnapped. And the pawnbroker was a secret Korean soldier and is a badass. And this movie is very similar to things like Man on Fire, with some of the best knife fighting you'll see in cinema. I've trained Filipino martial arts and knife fighting for a long time, and this movie still gets me with how well it's choreographed. Highly recommended, The Man from Nowhere. Following that, a movie from 1946 called The Spiral Staircase, directed by Robert Siodmak, I'm going to butcher that, starring Dorothy McGuire, George Brent, Ethel Barrymore, Rhonda Fleming, and Elsa Lanchester. This is a psychological horror film. You can find this on YouTube and on Plex. There's some noir elements about a mute girl who is involved in a lot of people dying and murders and that kind of thing. And it's really good, really spooky, very atmospheric. Highly recommended. Following that, something on Tubi, a 2019 film called Anything for Jackson, directed by Justin G. Dyke and starring Sheila McCarthy and Julian Richins, who shine. Both of those actors shine. It has to do with a pair of grandparents whose their grandson has died, and they will do anything to get him back, including kidnap someone and get involved in some Satanism to make that happen. Very, very good. Comes apart a little bit at the end, but man, getting there is really, really great. Let's see. Following that, I'm going to say there's a series of films. There's an actor called Shintaro Katsu in Japanese cinema. He was best known for the Zatoichi films, The Blind Masseuse Swordsman. But he did a series of films called Hanzo the Razor. The first one was from 1972. It's called Sword of Justice. It's directed by Kenji Misumi, who did some of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. In 1973, he did The Snare, which was directed by Yasuzo Masamura. Yes, I'm reading this. Who directed another great Shintaro Katsu film called Blind Beast. And then in 1974, they did Who's Got the Gold, directed by Yoshio Inoue, who did the Woman Gambling Expert films. This is like Samurai James Bond. Hanzo the Razor is just a badass whose house is tricked out so that if people invade it, walls come down and arrows fly, and just good fun. Great for those nights when you're hanging out with your friends. It's wholly enjoyable. Not much other than a James Bond film. It's not similar to too much. It's kind of its own egg, but boy, is it good. And then finally, because I wrote for Fangoria for so long and worked for Dread Central, people always ask me, like, what's the most disturbing film you've ever seen? What's the pinnacle of the kind of ick factor? And without a doubt, for me, it's a 2010 film called A Serbian Film, directed by Slobodan Spasojevic. Wear a helmet, wear a cup on this one. It is by far one of the most disturbing things. It has a lot of it. Has to do with an Asian porn star who's looking for work and falls in with some people who are nefarious, to say the least. And the ending is a real gut punch. So I do recommend it because it's a well-made film. It's an effective film by all metrics. I saw it at SIFF in Seattle when it first came out, and I was starting to take bets on who was going to leave. And by the time the movie was over, there was only myself and a friend and one other sort of couple. But wow, Serbian film is top shelf. If you want to impress your friends, that's the one to go with. I am going to start including periodically in these shows little stories from my past. This one comes from 2011, 2012. I had been called up to Vancouver, Canada to do a set visit on the 2012 film Underworld Awakening, directed by Mans Marlin and Bjorn Stein, starring Kate Beckinsale, India Isley, who happened to be the daughter of Olivia Hussey, which was kind of a surprise. Story goes like this. Bunch of us sweaty journalists were in a room waiting for the arrival of Ms. Beckinsale. Everyone was very excited, I remember. Very cold outside, by the way. Door opens and in comes Kate Beckinsale, and is easily one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in real life. Her and I think it's Salma Hayek are kind of up there. She comes in wearing a full-length down coat from her neck, and it's closed up from her neck all the way to her shoes. And everyone's very, very happy to see her, of course, and we're all very excited about interviewing her. And at one point, she looks around the room and says, "Oh, it's hot in here," and pops that coat off. And underneath, she's wearing the Selena outfit, the corsets, the black vinyl, the black leather. And you just heard all these journalists, their jaws just hit the floor. And I remember looking at her and kind of smiling, going, I know what you're doing there. Another highlight of that film was meeting Brad Martin, who was the stunt coordinator and second unit director. Brad Martin is a legend when it comes to fight choreography, and I'm big into fight choreography. And the interview with him went sideways in that it was basically, even though there were a lot of people around, other journalists around, it became just me and him talking about styles and about this obscure Hong Kong actor and that Hong Kong actor. Ended up, when it came time, usually the way those work is the pool of journalists split up all of the interviews. We all interview them, but then we split them up. Like, you transcribe this one, you transcribe that one. And everyone gets the raw transcripts from which to write their article. I had to do the Brad Martin one just because no one knew what we were talking about. But it was a good experience. The film, not so much. But it was interesting to see practical effects, live lichen, like 7 feet tall and gigantic, just covered from head to toe in makeup, and it was pretty amazing. So let's see, books. I read John Fonte's The Wine of Youth. It's a short story collection. I was really expecting a lot from this, and I didn't get it. It's very sort of slice of life. And I read so much genre that I kept going, well, when's the monster show up? And the answer is never. So well written by all metrics again, but didn't really float my boat, as they say. Right now I'm reading Mo Hader's book, The Devil of Nanking. It's about a girl that's in Japan trying to learn all she can about the massacre at Nanking, if you know what that is. It's fun. It's very well written. It's kind of taking a while to get to the meat of things, but it is enjoyable. So I do recommend it. Records. I'm going to amp that up from the 5 I did the first episode to 10, and we'll go through them pretty quickly. First up, Finch. The record is called Galleons of Pleasure. It's from 1977. Finch is a Dutch progressive rock band, and if you like things like Genesis and Yes and that kind of thing, Finch is great. The musicianship is top drawer. The writing is great. Yeah, highly recommended. Next up, Robert Drasnin VOODOO from 1959. This is a classic of lounge, if you know things like Martin Denny and Esquivel and that kind of thing. Just great. Again, all of these links are going to be in the description of the video, so you can check them out. But I do recommend the Robert Drasnin VOODOO. After that, Andre Drage Wolves from 2025. He's a drummer. It's kind of prog fusion that, much like the one of the records I did last time, is a barn burner. These guys are just wailing. Really, really good. Top flight musicianship, just killing it all the way around. I do highly recommend that. Next up, a complete change of pace. Emilie Levienaise-Farrouch. It's the soundtrack to a film called H is for Hawk from 2025. It's a beautiful, beautiful record. If you would like to put something on at dinner, if you want something to sort of chill out at the end of the day, soundtrack to H is for Hawk is for you. Following that, another really chill, beautiful record. Himekami is the name of the artist, and the record is called HIRAIZUMI Reminiscence. It's from 2025, and it's Japanese ambient. Just wonderful stuff. Lots of traditional Japanese instruments, a lot of electronics, and wholly enjoyable. Following that, there was a guy called Carlo Savina, who was a Italian film music legend. He did things like the soundtracks to Damiano Damiani's Sicilian Connection in 1985, Giuseppe Bonatti's The Killer Reserved 9 Seats, if you know that giallo. He did the music for Mario Bava's Lisa and the Devil from 1973 with Telly Savalas and Elfie Summer. Great stuff. Italian cinema music always rocks and is always enjoyable. Does have its tropes, so you want to come in sort of armed for bear, but beautiful stuff. Really just great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. After that, the Bella Band, self-titled. It's a 1978 jazz fusion prog trio that, again, it's not fooling around. This does not sound anything like the aforementioned Genesis or Yes, but it is well worth your time. Again, the Bella Band, self-titled. Following that, from Melbourne, Australia, Birdsnake. The record is called Biofilter. It's from 2025. More ambient, more things to play when you're trying to relax. Again, in the description of the video, you will find a link and you can check it out for yourself. I don't want to go be too hyperbolic, but yeah, check this stuff out. Following that, a guy named Dieter Geike, aka Blonker. The record's called Straight Ahead. More ambient, more proggy fusion. Good stuff. I had not ever heard of Blonker, but now I have, and they are definitely on my radar, and I will be listening to more. We'll probably hear more about them coming up. And then finally, the Outernet from 2025. The record is called The Light and the Fury. This is another one of those barn burners, man. This is just musicians at the top of their form. Everyone just going for it and just tearing it up. I do think that it is my most favorite out of all of these 10, just because I was so surprised when it came down the pike. And yeah, good stuff. So that's going to do it. Pretty quick, clean and easy. No one got hurt. I will say head over to there's a hidden web page on my website. If you go to www.tomcarnell.com/KMRE, there are 200 hours of a radio show I did for a local radio station here where I live. And it's fun. It's a lot of movie pulls, a lot of music, and just good fun. And while you're there, you can check out some of the other pages on my website. There are pages for all my books with some descriptions and some reviews, and you can check those out. And then on my Amazon page, please check out my newest book, Monolith Records. It's kind of a romantic comedy of all things, set in 1985 essentially at a Tower Records. It's kind of the tale of how I met my wife, full of music, full of culture of the time, full of wacky characters doing fun stuff. And then I will have another short story collection out in a few months called Open Late that I'll keep you all posted on. And also on this channel, you can find an interview I did back in 2010 with George Romero. That was pretty in-depth. I've interviewed most of the Romero crew over the years, and I'll have some stories about that coming up in future episodes. Yeah. Check it out. It's fun. It's very comprehensive. You can see my interview style. I try to do a lot of pulling things out of a hat. Like, here's something you didn't think about. We talk a lot about Martin Scorsese and him constantly in battle trying to check out from the New York Film Library a copy of The Red Shoes. Yeah, so that's going to do it. This is on Wednesday. I'll be back on Friday with another batch of movies and books and music. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks.